This is an alien worm. It is an extremely rare worm species that has the insane ability to shoot slime out of its mouth to glue its prey to the ground. Usually, you would never be able to find one of these, but I just found this website that somehow had 10 of them in stock.
Oh my gosh, I have never seen one of these in stock on a website before. How did this site randomly get 10? Who knows, but I think I'm gonna buy all 10 and then I can be one of the first people in the world to show off the insane abilities of these alien worms.
So I checked these bad boys out, and in a matter of days, I had received the so-called alien worms.
Yo, please tell me I did not get scammed with these things.
But I took out the packing material, and thankfully, these rare creatures were actually here.
Oh, it's the alien worms. Yo, I gotta get a closer look at these guys.
So I took the lids off of the containers that they were packed in, and carefully moved one over to a damp paper towel. Instantly, we can see why people call them alien worms. They quite literally look like a mutant abomination between a centipede and an earthworm, and their skin is lined with thousands of these tiny weird bumps. But of course, the weirdest part of these worms was revealed when I tried to move it with my tweezers. Almost instantly, it turned around and spat its alien slime all over them. Yup, out of these two front arms, the alien worm is able to straight up cover my tweezers in this sticky glue substance that they actually mainly use to glue prey to the ground so they can easily go up to them to eat them whole. It's something straight out of an alien movie.
And of course, I don't just have one of these worms. I have 10 of them. This is gonna be so fun.
To get started, we need to recreate the alien worm's natural environment in this tank, which surprisingly is not actually some alien planet. These creatures actually live in the Central American rainforests. So I'm gonna be using some spray foam to make the background of this tank first. It's been a while since I've used it, but spray foam is the ultimate cheat code for rainforest tanks. Of course, because of the amazing ability to be able to stick stuff like dirt, sticks, and tons of other natural stuff to it to make it look, you know, natural. And once this background is looking pretty good, step 2 to making this tank is to do the floor, which is surprisingly important for our alien worms to get right.
But thankfully, that's not too hard to do, because basically all we gotta do is just take some of these clay balls and pour it in like that. Then once that's filled up, we gotta get out some window screen.
If you're a terrarium expert, you'll probably know I'm making a drainage layer right now. By cutting out this window screen and putting it above the clay balls, it lets water drain down into it, but it will still let us put our dirt right on top.
Now, you may have noticed that whenever I've had one of these alien worms out, they've been on a nice damp paper towel. That's because this species needs constant moisture or else they'll simply dry out and just die. So that means for this tank, we're gonna wanna add a ton of this nice purified water down into the drainage layer so it'll just stay nice and moist.
But I'm not just gonna pour water in the tank, that would be boring. Here on the Terrarium channel, I gotta make things interesting.
That's why I've got a Spider-Man water shooter to add the water. Yes, sir, this thing shoots streams of water just like Spider-Man's web shooter shoots webs. And yeah, this might be kind of stupid, but it actually makes sense to do this because if you think about it, Spider-Man sticks his enemies to walls with webs. And well, the alien worms, they shoot goo onto their prey. So yeah, this definitely makes sense to do. Okay, and I think it's out of water. Okay, I'm just gonna pour the water in normally.
So yeah, after adding in the water, you can see this drainage layer now had a nice healthy amount of water in it. This moisture will help keep the dirt above nice and wet. And speaking of that dirt, it's now time to add that in. Lots of people sometimes like to make their complex mixes of tons of different types of dirts and mosses, but today I'll just be using this nice old bag of jungle dirt mix. This already has a good ratio of all the different types of natural stuff that makes up the dirt in the jungle where the alien worms actually live.
There we go. Look at this place. It's actually looking pretty dirty. Yeah, you see what I did there? Dirty, because there's dirt everywhere. Anyways, in my hand, I have a ton of insects. Don't ask me how I got these. But you see, I have something I want to do with these. Basically, I'm going to dig a little hole here along the side of the glass, and then I'm going to bury all of these insects right there, basically.
You see, obviously the alien worms eat insects, so I thought by burying these down here, there could be the slight chance that our alien worms would pick up on the scent and dig down to find them. To be honest, I don't even know if alien worms can dig, but hey, hey, I guess someone has to find out somehow. Anyways, this is where the build starts to get fun, because now it's time to do the decorations.
Yep, the first decoration I want to make is a cave made out of rocks. But it's actually cool how you make it. Let me show you.
Yeah, you may just think that we could just stack a bunch of rocks on each other and call it a cave, but in reality, there's a lot more that goes into it. What I actually had to do is buy these wooden skewer things and essentially start poking them into the background to make these little platforms for me to place rocks on top of. This essentially lets me create an arch shape out of all the rocks here that the alien worms will be able to walk under. Then we basically glue all these together with some more spray foam. Yep, since it's black, it blends in pretty well. And once I covered most of the excess spray foam with some more rocks and dirt, boom, the cave is done. All right, but this place is still looking pretty barren, so I figured it was time to finally start adding some color around with this nice moss. Not only is it super beautiful, but if we leave it alone for enough time, it'll completely grow over the whole tank in a bunch of greenery.
Okay, for the next decoration, you guys might think it's stupid, but I think it's genius. It's this stuff. And if you don't know what this is, it is modeling clay. But trust me, I have a good purpose for it.
Because if you take a look at it, you'll notice how it's super stringy and almost slimy looking when I pull it apart. Almost very similar to how the alien worm slime that they shoot looks like. So I thought it'd be pretty fitting to start just stretching this around parts of the background and other parts of the tank to basically make it look like there was a bunch of old dried up slime that these alien worms had shot around the tank. And of course, right now this stuff is still soft and could be bent in any way, but in a few hours the air will harden it up and make it non-toxic for our worms.
Some people might say this just like made it look uglier, and I would kind of honestly have to agree, but also it just kind of adds character, so I think I'm gonna keep it.
All right, then I just quickly added in some plants because, you know, nature has plants, so I figured this would just help the place look more natural. And finally, I just had one more decoration.
Yes, sir, I got an alien statue to put inside. We'll put that right there.
Yeah, I mean, we literally have one of the most alien creatures that exists on all of Earth, so it only makes sense to have this in here, so I'll always know what's in the tank.
Now, before adding in our alien worms, there's one final thing we got to do, and that's to add life inside of here. And as you can see, I've got 3 different life forms here of different animals I'm gonna add inside. Let me get them inside.
The first life form I'll be adding is very simple, but very effective. It's springtails. You almost certainly know them if you've seen my channel before, but in fact right here, I bought over 3,000 of these little guys that I'm going to release into the tank. Since we're gonna be keeping it so unbelievably moist, mold might start growing in the tank, but springtails eat mold, so it solves that problem. But I don't only have these boring bluish colored springtails, I also decided to buy a batch of exotic yellow springtails, which costed a lot more, but they looked a bit cooler, so it was definitely worth it in my eyes.
Okay, but this next life form is going to blow your mind. Check out what is inside this box.
Right in here, I've spent over $50 on a couple tiny little isopods. Isopods are a little type of bug that basically just keep your tanks clean, but I didn't buy just any regular old isopod. Say hello to the rubber ducky isopod. Yes, sir, these things cost like 100 times more than a regular one, because if you just look at the front of its body, it literally is yellow and has an orange beak just like a rubber ducky. So yeah, people thought this was cool and decided to just sell them for an absolute insane price. And honestly, I think they're worth it because they're super cute, and the fact that they keep our tank clean, I mean, that's just sick.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoy your time in the tank. And hopefully the alien worms don't decide to eat you guys. That would kind of be sad.
And now for our third and final life form. This one is extremely creepy. Because you see, recently my friend Flytrot Films uploaded a video about a weird alien mold that he discovered. In this video, he literally showed off how this mold is able to move on its own and literally eat decaying insects. And for some reason, he decided to send his alien mold to me.
And hey, we're keeping alien worms, so I figured we may as well try and keep this weird alien mold stuff too, to see if it interacts with the worms in any weird way.
So I went ahead and opened the package Flytrap Films had sent me, and inside I was kind of confused by what I saw. He had packed a dish full of these tiny pieces of paper with little yellow specks on them. Now, I'm pretty sure these yellow specks are the slime molds. And because they grow at a rapid pace, it shouldn't be very long until ours come alive.
So I'm pretty sure to make this alien mold come alive, we literally just plop the specks of it on this little dish, just like that, and then we put this oat right on the other side, so they'll have something to eat. All right, let's see if these start moving.
So yeah, I just left my camera recording, and it only took about 30 minutes until one decided to wake up. Out of nowhere, this one at the bottom left started to pulsate its yellow body like crazy, and then it slowly started to grow off of the edge of the piece of paper it was on, and it started to walk towards the oat I had put inside. Yup, I have no clue how a literal mold is able to walk, let alone find food sources to swarm and eat, but after the mold got to eat a bit of this oat, it got enough energy to grow upwards towards the middle mold to merge with that and grow even stronger.
Oh my gosh, I just woke up, guys, and look at this alien mold, what it's doing right now. Not only has it moved so much, but it's going to the other alien molds to like eat them. Nah.
The alien slime mold kept merging around with more of the molds and eating more oats. And as I kept watching, unfortunately the dish kept getting all condensated and stuff, and basically blocked my view from getting all the interesting shots. But thankfully, we could still see some of the growth on the sides of the condensation, and you can see how active it was under there.
Oh my gosh, guys, look at this alien mold. It is so crazy how much it is able to just completely devour these oats.
And yeah, considering this thing started as a little tiny piece of mold and eventually got this big, it tells me that if it escapes into this tank, it might grow large enough to cover the entire thing.
So, of course, I'll be going ahead and putting this alien mold in the cave like that, so it can continue growing. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll be seeing if the alien worms interact with it in any sort of weird way.
Anyways, this tank is now completely finished and ready for our alien worms, so we can learn all about them.
All right, let's get these alien worms in. Now, if you remember, I was moving them with tweezers earlier, but that was causing them to spit their slime at me, which I don't want them to have to do in defense since it probably stresses them out. So instead, I'm gonna try and gather them up with this spoon so the squeezing doesn't spook them.
So I went ahead and gathered them all up and scooped them all into their brand new enclosure. It's pretty cute watching them all be bunched up into a ball like this together. Apparently, a group of these alien worms is called a cuddle, which I think is pretty fitting. But as you can see, it didn't take very long for a few of them to start venturing off on their own to explore. Out of all the worms I had gotten, most of them were pretty decently sized, like this one. But as you can see, a few of them, like these two, were still super small babies. Which I'm not gonna lie, these guys are super cute, and I wonder which kind of prey they even eat and if they can shoot slime too.
But yeah, I just think it's kind of stupid how each of these alien worms costed me $150. Even the babies, even though they're so much smaller. But yeah, that's just how rare alien worms are. Please subscribe. It was very expensive.
Anyways, now let's let these creatures hunt 3 different types of food so we can finally study how they use their insane slime to attack prey. And well, the first food we're gonna feed is flightless fruit flies.
Yup, you've almost certainly seen these things if you're a fan of my channel because they're a staple food for stuff like my aunt because of how small and easy to catch they are.
And while I'm thinking the bigger alien worms certainly aren't gonna go for them, we'll see what the baby alien worms do since they're so much smaller. So I immediately drop one of the flightless fruit flies right next to one of the smaller baby alien worms. And initially it seemed like the worm was maybe sort of interested in the fly, but it wasn't attacking it or anything. But that was until this. Did you see that? Let's rewind that and play that back in slow-mo, because if you look very closely, the worm actually locked onto the fly and shot its alien slime out. Yep, this string of white stuff is the slime that had actually managed to land on the fly. But yeah, because it's a baby, it barely shot any slime at all. But even though the slime had completely immobilized the fly, making it not be able to escape, for some reason our alien worm did not go up to it at all to eat it. And for the next few hours, each time I tried to get one of these baby alien worms to eat a fly, it straight up just didn't.
Okay, bro, I feel like if they were starving, they would eat these flies. But since these things are literally just so small, I feel like it's not even worth their effort to try and eat them. So let's move on to our second food source, which is wax worms. And as you can see, these things are a lot bigger and juicier. They will certainly eat this.
So I went ahead and located one of the larger alien worms and brought out one of the wax worms. You can see how the wax worm is essentially the same same size as our alien worm, so I was almost expecting nothing to happen here. That was until this, when the alien worm locked onto the prey and it shot its slimy glue out. Now, it didn't shoot out a crazy amount, but it was enough for it to start moving in and eating the prey. Alien worms are equipped with these crazy mouths that have little razors inside of them, so they can absolutely decimate whatever they need to eat. However, you can see how the waxworm was not cooperating at all and was squirming everywhere, making it impossible to eat. So the alien worm decided to shoot even more slime out, which let it get a way better grip, and yeah, it started to eat. Dang, that is cool.
I swear, this worm is literally a straight up assassin. How is it taking down a worm that's basically the same size of its body?
It's sort of brutal to watch, but it's also insanely interesting because there would be times like this when this yellow liquid would just start to leak out of the wax worm, which the alien worm would just instantly slurp up. You'd probably like to see why I like to call these things alien worms with how weird they are.
Yo, let's go. It was actually sick to watch these guys get eaten. But of course, we haven't even done our craziest food source yet. It's finally time to feed some crickets, baby. Yeah, I don't know why animals love crickets so much, but they always give the coolest hunting for crickets. So yeah, sorry crickets, you guys are probably about to have a bad time.
So I once again found a decently sized alien worm and put the cricket right up to him. Now at first the worm just didn't really care and was letting the cricket walk all over him, but eventually I placed a cricket directly on the head of the alien worm, and that's when it finally started to show some interest. It all of a sudden raised its slime shooters up and shot a stream of slime onto the cricket, of course trying to stick it to the ground so it wouldn't be able to escape. Now crickets can be extremely fast and agile, so this glue is extremely necessary here so the worm can essentially strap it to the floor. And we can see it worked perfectly because when the cricket tried to start moving, well, it was completely stuck here, and the alien worm started to advance its creepy alien mouth up to the prey and started to consume it. Well, that was until like 2 minutes later when it decided it was bored and ran off into the moss, leaving the cricket stuck behind.
Yo, did the alien worm really just leave the cricket? Wait, nah, he came back. Bro, I thought he left. Wait, bro, I gotta get my camera back out. I didn't realize he was gonna come back.
Yeah, apparently the alien worm wasn't done eating, so it came back so it could fill up a bit more. Anyway, since these things apparently love eating crickets, I decided to go around and feed the rest of the alien worms with their own crickets. And yeah, once again, you can just see how they shoot out their alien goo and just absolutely devour the prey from head to toe, sucking all the juices out.
Well, I'm happy we got to feed all those food sources to our worms. But oh guys, we cannot forget about the alien mold that I put in the cave. Check out how much it has grown. It's like taking up the whole dish.
But of course, I wanted to see if the alien worms would interact with this thing in any weird way, so I went ahead and brought some of them over. Now, of course, don't worry, despite this stuff being literally mold, it's not dangerous in any way to anything that's alive. And apparently our alien worms knew that, because this one decided it just wanted to start walking all along the side of this alien mold stuff.
Okay, bro, even though this alien mold is completely harmless, I just feel kind of weird about letting this guy crawl on this, but I mean, I guess it's fine. Dang, I wonder what it feels like to walk on that stuff. It's gotta feel weird.
But yeah, nothing monumental happened. It was just kind of cool to see the alien worms be sort of interested in this mold.
Well, anyways, thank you, Flytrap Films, for sending me this super cool alien mold. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you want me to keep growing it and maybe make another video about it in the future. Anyways, I hope you guys learned something new about these insane creatures that are the alien worms.
So yeah, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching, and have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.